Well, I might as well take this moment of quiet and call the June 13th, 2017 Town Board meeting to order. Our first two items on the agenda will be public hearings. The first public hearing will be pertaining to the discontinuance of portion of a certain public roadway located in the town of Grand Rapids. That certain roadway project is described as follows. To wit, unnamed, undeveloped east-west road from 80th Street South to point 150 west, about 965 feet south of South Park Road. Said road being 60 foot wide and located between Lot 1 of Block 1 of Valentine Subdivision and Lot 2 of Wood County Certified Survey Map 10078, all in Section 28, Township 2, Section 25, Township 22, thank you, north of Range 6 East in the town of Grand Rapids, Wood County. I'll ask the clerk to read the official announcement, and then I'll ask for some initial comment from our attorney, Nick Flanagan, to kind of go through that.
Are you putting the actual notice?
Yep.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that in accordance with Section 66.1003 sub 4 of the Wisconsin statutes, the town of Grand Rapids, Wood County, Wisconsin will hold a public hearing regarding the discontinuance of a portion of a certain public way located in the town of Grand Rapids, Wood County, Wisconsin, more particularly described below, at the regular meeting of the town board, which is to be held at the town hall in the town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin, on the 13th day of June 2017 at 6 p.m. The certain road portion is described as follows. To it, an unnamed, undeveloped east-west road from the 80th Street to a point 150 feet west, about 960 feet south of South Park Road, said road being 60 feet wide and located between Lot 1 of Block 1 of the Valentine Subdivision and Lot 2 of Wood County Certified Survey Map 10078, all in Section 25, Township 22 north of Range 6 East in the town of Grand Rapids, Wood County, Wisconsin. Copies of the map of the above described section are available for viewing at the Town Hall, 2410 48th Street South, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. All interested parties are invited to attend said hearing and to be heard. After the public hearing, the Town Board will consider the proposed final resolution for discontinuance of the portion of the road as described above.
Thank you, Lisa. As it stated, there will be some comments. We'll ask for those against it. We'll ask for those in favor of it. Before we start, I wanted to ask our attorney, Nick Flanagan, to just give us a little background for everybody here on this particular project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was initiated by the Plan Commission through a recommendation for vacation of an unnamed, undeveloped east-west road that's part of Valentine Subdivision. That recommendation came on February 27th, 2017. Pursuant to 66.1003 sub 4 sub A, a preliminary resolution was adopted by this board on April 11th, 2017. A public hearing was scheduled for today. That's per 66.1003 sub 4 sub B. The requirement is that occur at least 40 days after the adoption of the preliminary resolution. Notice was published as a Class 3 notice as required by 66.1003. Dates of publication were 5/15/2017, 5/22/2017, and 5/29/2017. In addition, notice was sent by my office to the Secretary of Transportation as required by 66.1003 sub 8 sub A. The date of sending that to the Secretary of Transportation was April 13th, 2017. As of today's date, one written objection was received by a property owner that lives or that owns property, directly to the west. It's a 12-acre unplatted parcel that is directly to the west of the public way being considered. I can read that in to the record if the board so chooses. Otherwise, and I believe you all have copies of that as well.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, I'll ask you to read that. I'm going to start with the those that are against the proposed removal of the road, and as we indicated, there was one written, and I'll ask Nick to bring that to the table.
Written objection from Delaney Collins, again, the property owner of the parcel directly to the west of the public way being considered. The written objection reads, "Hi Peggy, or representation of Town of Grand Rapids. I'm writing to you to provide an objection to the proposal to vacate a piece of property that has been previously designated as a road dedication. The piece of property borders 80th Street South in Kellner and is marked as Kellner subdivision on the attached certified survey map. Per the discussion with the Town of Grand Rapids attorney, Nick Flanagan, it is my understanding that the property is vacated. It would, if the property is vacated, it would be given to the owner of the lot north of the road dedication. To my understanding, there is no record of who owned the original property and when it was dedicated for a future road. My family, Della Valentine, originally owned all the property to the west of 80th Street. Upon Della Valentine's death in 1965, the land was inherited by my mother, Deanna Valentine Thies. I had previously sent you the abstract. Due to my recollection, the road dedication is most likely made between 1965 and 1975, as my parents were originally planning on building a subdivision to the west of the property that is now called Valentine Subdivision. And this road dedicated provided road access to the west property. As you can see from the map, the property dedicated to the road runs east and west and would not provide any road access to what is currently called Valentine Subdivision, which is to the north of the road dedication. My understanding is there was also a second road dedication running east and west, which was further north of 80th Street, which had been previously vacated. The road dedication would also not have provided access to the properties north and south of it called Valentine Subdivision, but it would have provided east-west access to the property to the west. My mother passed away in 2015, and my brothers and I have now inherited the land about 12 acres to the west of the road dedication. The land is for sale, and we would like to sell the land to a potential builder who could develop it into a set of houses. Having the existing road dedication gives value to the property, as the road dedication would provide access to the property from the east, and it is currently the only option to access the property from the east. If the 12-acre property is not sold to a builder, I have no objection to vacating the road dedication in the future. But since the road dedication was most likely made 50 years ago for its intended purpose of building a road into the property to the west of the dedication, and was most likely property given to the town by my family, the Valentines, I'm objecting to vacating the road dedication at this time. I'm unable to make the town board meeting on Tuesday, June 13th, as I live in California. However, I would be interested in joining via telephone if possible. My phone number is given. It is possible my brother Jeremy Thies from Iowa or my niece Tara Thies from Wisconsin Rapids will be able to attend. If they do, I give them permission to represent me in this matter. I appreciate your consideration in this matter. Sincerely, Delaney Collins.
Okay, that's the only written objection we got, so now I'll ask for anybody else that is against it to speak. Please state your name for the records, please. Anybody else wishing to speak against the, go ahead.
I'm the property owner to the east, and I guess I'm...
Name for the record, please.
My name is Heather Winker.
Thank you.
I'm just unsure on whether I'm for or against it based on what the property owner to the west has to say, and because I have other questions.
Okay, anybody else wishing to speak against the road removal? Anybody else wishing to speak against? Third and final time, anybody wishing to speak against it? Hearing none, I'll ask those that are wishing to speak in favor of the road being removed. Please state your name for the record and...
Okay, I guess that would be me then. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm for or against it because I'm unclear on what's going on with the property owner from the other side. I was under the impression that when we purchased the land, I believe his name to be Carl was the one that was in charge of purchasing.
Carl Rail? Yes.
Yes, that when we had purchased the land, he had mentioned that at that time the alley was unnamed and the town didn't know what it was doing with it, and at the time, if it did decide that it would either give the land to us or it would be split between the two adjoining property owners. So now that there has been an interest and an activity going on to the west, I am here to say that I would like to, sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
It's all right.
I would like to be involved or have to say over what I thought was going to be at least half of the undeveloped alley, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to proceed at this time.
Stating your case like you did there, you did fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the road removal? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the road removal? Third and final time, anybody wish to speak in favor? Hearing none, I'll call this public hearing closed. We'll move to the second public hearing, and then we'll take action later in the agendas. You want to go ahead and announce that, Lisa? It's probably, otherwise it's just duplication, right?
The second public hearing?
Yep.
Read through the whole thing here?
Yep.
Yep. This is to amend the official zoning map. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Town of Grand Rapids Town Board on Tuesday, June 13th at 6 p.m., 2017, Town of Grand Rapids Town Hall, 2410 48th Street South, Wisconsin Rapids. The purpose of the public hearing is to consider proposed amendments and solicit citizen input on the following town official map changes. A recommendation by the Town of Grand Rapids Plan Commission to amend the official zoning map related to vacating the following future road reservations. Number 1, an unnamed and undeveloped east-west portion of road off 32nd Street South, removing an unnamed and undeveloped road off 32nd Street South, passing through parcel 0700659 FAA. Currently an undeveloped east-west road from 32nd Street South to a point 342 feet east, about 275 feet north of Kellner Road, said road being 66 feet wide and located in section 22 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Number 2, an undeveloped north-south portion of 60th Street South. Removing a portion of 60th Street South passing through parcels 0700242A, 0700242, and 007000671. Currently an undeveloped north-south road from Chestnut Street to Wood Avenue, 2,640 feet in length, and about 1,320 feet west off 64th Street South. Said road being 66 feet wide and located in sections 14 and 23 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Number 3 is an undeveloped east-west portion of Wood Avenue. Removing an undeveloped east-west portion of Wood Avenue from 56th Street South to a point 1,320 feet east, about 1,320 feet north of Kellner Road. Said road being 66 feet wide and located in section 23 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Number 4 is an undeveloped east-west portion of Kingston Road. Removing an undeveloped east-west portion of Kingston Road from 48th Street North to a point 3,960 feet west, about 1,320 feet south of Willacic Avenue, said road being 66 feet wide and located in section 10 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Number 5, an unnamed and undeveloped east-west portion of road from 64th Street North to 80th Street North, located in section 1 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Removing an unnamed and undeveloped east-west portion of road from 64th Street North to 80th Street North, 5,280 feet in length along the north boundary line of the northwest quarter of Section 1 in the Town of Grand Rapids, and about 2,000 feet north of Curve Street, said road being 66 feet wide and located in Section 1 in the Town of Grand Rapids. Number 6 is an undeveloped north-south portion of 68th Street North. Removing an undeveloped north-south portion of 68th Street North from Birch Avenue to a point 2,640 feet north, about 1,320 feet east of 64th Street North, said road being 66 feet wide and located in Section 1 in the Town of Grand Rapids. A recommendation by the Town of Grand Rapids Plan Commission to amend the official zoning map related to adding the following future road reservation. Number 7, an extension of Highway 54 East Arterial to reflect a proposed realignment of South 54, adding a proposed extension of South 54 around the east side of Wisconsin Rapids as determined by and addressed in the East Arterial Feasibility Study. Said extension running between a point of intersection of South 54 and County W. Kellner Road to a point of intersection with County Z. Griffith Avenue. A recommendation by the Town of Grand Rapids Plan Commission to amend the official zoning map related to altering the location of the following future road reservation. Number 8, an unnamed and undeveloped northwest-southeast portion of road off Plover Road. Currently reserving a portion of road off Plover Road passing through parcel 0700025A and part of 0700037. Currently an unnamed and undeveloped northwest-southeast road from Plover Road to a point 1,000 feet southeast, about 2,515 feet west of 64th Street North. Said road being 66 feet wide and located in Section 2 in the Town of Grand Rapids. A proposed amendment of said road reservation to a point approximately 420 feet east, Proposed amended road being a northwest-southeast road from Clover Road to a point 1,000 feet southeast, about 2,090 feet west of 64th Street North, said road being 66 feet wide and located in Section 2 in the town of Grand Rapids. Copies of the map showing locations of the proposed changes as described above are available for viewing at the Town Hall, 2410 48th Street South, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. All interested parties are invited to attend said hearing and be heard. After the public hearing, the town board will consider the proposed amendments.
Thank you, Lisa. And again, Nick, do you have some, Mr. Flanagan, I should say, do you have some background information for us?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The applicable statute concerning amending the official map is going to be 62.23 sub 6. Section C of 62.23 sub 6 says that no amendment of the official map may become effective until after a public hearing concerning the proposed state change. At the public hearing, parties in interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard. History on this item: on February 14th, 2017, the board referred this to the Plan Commission for review and recommendation. In doing so, there was a 60-day extension beyond the original 60-day deadline that's specified in the statute to come back with recommendations. The Plan Commission did meet on the item over several meetings, prepared recommended amendments as read by the clerk. Those recommended amendments came in on May 8th, 2017, and have now come to you for consideration. Plan Commission, in reviewing the official map and their recommendations, did vet that to be consistent with the Town of Grand Rapids Comprehensive Plan. A public hearing was scheduled per 62.23 sub 6 sub C. The public hearing was published as a Class 2 notice with date of first publication occurring on 5/30/2017. Notice was also mailed to affected property owners where road reservations passed through.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Flanagan. Did we have any written objectors?
We do not.
We do not. Okay. To the public, anybody wishing to speak against removal of any of these, please name for the record and state your comment. Go ahead, sir, for the back. Name.
Donald, I'm just curious on what the purpose is. I'm referring to Kingston Road. And if you do take it off, what does it do to the property lines and who resurveys it?
Do we have the background on Kingston Road, Patty or anybody?
Yeah, before. The reason why they had originally, the Plan Commission proposed the vacation of that road was due to the business park and the substation and the railroad that was there. And so that was the reasoning behind it.
Why they want to take it off the map?
Right.
Okay. That's
Because
fine.
by-
I really don't have any objections to it. My biggest question is surveying it and where the property lines go.
Nick, is there a simple answer?
Yeah, mainly that it wouldn't be automatically triggering a survey, but if it was subsequently surveyed after these would be adopted, if they are adopted, it would be showing up on the survey. So there wouldn't be a survey that would be conducted after this point, but it would be recorded by the county.
All right, so that property, after you take it off the map, right now, are we paying taxes on it?
It's a reservation. These aren't road dedications, I don't believe. So yes, you are paying
We are
taxes.
currently paying taxes on it.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Any other negatives? Go ahead.
Dale Carlson. I just wondered now, it says so many feet east of Walla, or south of Walla, do we know how far east and west, for the west end of it's gonna be that they're discontinuing?
Which one are we talking about?
Kingston Road, he lives on the dead end coming from 32nd Street.
Number 4 still.
Certainly not through your property, I can tell you that. Betty, do you know where you stopped? It was within the town of Grand Rapids, correct?
Right.
So if all your property is in the city, is it or is it not?
Both, city and.
Yeah, both.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
I do have a small map here if you'd like to see, if you are able to tell.
Can you give me a rough idea? Does it go up to the substation line, or does it go past it to the west?
And I'm unable to answer that question as far as landmarks go, but we were actually looking at section lines and road lines as far as when we were determining where to discontinue. So according to this, our map that we have it actually ending at a section line. So if, by viewing this, I can let you see this, if that would help you determine.
I'd like to see.
Sure.
I believe that power line is shown in there. Greg, if you look at it, is there some pink little dashes that would reflect that power line? I think that's that power line, and it goes right up to the power line the way it looks.
This is what they're talking about. This is a section line.
Oh, yeah.
But then it heads west.
No, I think he's actually thinking this way. Yeah, I'm thinking he's thinking that whole, he wants to know how far down, because his property is in both sides. But,
It looks like it's right where the power line.
yeah, it sort of looks like that is,
That's my land here, this is my house, that doesn't knock to the house in the city.
No, it's yellow marked out just to be at where the power line ends.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
No, that's the railroad track.
Railroad track
the
goes,
dotted red line is the power line. Yeah, right.
okay, you all set?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was not an objection, just a question primarily, is that?
I'm just curious.
Okay.
It really doesn't make much sense.
I just want to make sure we got everybody recorded correctly as you said.
Yeah.
Anybody else wishing to speak against any of these? Anybody else wishing to speak against? Third and final time, anybody wishing to speak against? Now I'll ask those, anybody wishing to speak in favor of these removals? If you wish to speak. Anybody wish to speak? Third and final time, anybody wish to speak in favor of the removals? Hearing none, I'll call the public hearing closed. And we're going to move to the regular agenda. And our first agenda item, if you'll join us, would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Kathy, would you start?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. Any objections? Item 3, approval of the minutes from May 9th, 2017 Town Board.
Mr. Chairman, I would so move.
Motion by Bill, second Dan. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4 is a public comment period. People wishing to address this board, limited to 2 minutes each, with public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to speak tonight? Go ahead, sir. Name for the record.
Bill Acorn. I just want to clarify something. I watched you in a meeting on TV a couple of weeks ago, and you were giving Bill, or not just you, some other ones were too, giving Bill the dickens about the tree cutting in Canal Park in the town of Grand Rapids out there. I'm against it. And so I called Bill and just asked him for help. Well, it was stated I said clear cut. I never said clear cut, and neither did Bill. And I heard you on TV say, select cut on the trees, you talked to the DNR, or whoever it was. And that's all that I said about it. But Bill come out and was very good about it. He took a petition around. I went and we talked to neighbors, and we want to stop it. But mainly want to stop is picking on him for something he didn't do. I asked him to come and do this.
Okay, that's your comment. Go ahead. Anybody else wishing to comment to the board?
I would.
Go ahead, sir. Name for the record.
I'd kind of like to revisit the meeting where you guys decided to close the gun range. Or if I could get a copy of the minutes, that would be great.
What was your name again?
Alan Phi.
Okay.
Now, I spoke to, I believe it was the fire chief over here, that's his office in the corner. And I was talking to him about it, and he explained to me that, well, people were bringing machine guns down there. Really, now it's pretty hard to get a machine gun. It was one of 30 round clips, like, his knowledge of guns is limited apparently. He knows how to put up a sign. And then he says that there's bullets whizzing all over the place down there. Sounds like you can go down there and shovel them up. Well, you left the hunting range open. You know, at a gun range, you're gonna be shooting in a focused direction. The rabbit runs over there, you're gonna shoot over there. So I don't understand the logic. And the firewood stealing thing, I've actually seen that being done down there myself. I've actually talked to the chief of police about it. I think the hunting range is more dangerous than the shooting range. At least at the shooting range, you're shooting in a safe direction where you should be. As far as the trash removal down there, I'd be willing to volunteer to every time I go down there, me and my kids or friends, to bring a trash bag and help remove the trash, and maintain the property if necessary. But I'd really like to see a meeting on that gun range. Send out a notice for chickens, let's do it on the gun range.
Okay.
Second concern is,
You're running short. Go ahead. Wrap it up quick.
second concern is the passing on the right on this road out here. I mean, I was back in my trailer in the driveway, somebody actually tried to go down through my ditch line to get around my son's car, and my 18-foot trailer with my 20-foot truck in front of it. Something's got to be done about that. And I go to pull in my driveway coming from town, and there's always, I'm surprised there's not car track marks over there. It's really out of hand.
Okay, thank you for your comments, sir. We'll take them to heart. Anybody else wishing to speak to the board? Go ahead, ma'am.
Yep, Roxanne Gould. I'm in agreement with him as far as the gun range goes. I think there should have been at least been a meeting about it, so people can raise their concerns. Also, a big issue with the passing on the right. We all live right here on Kellerman Road, and no matter when we try to turn in our driveway, somebody's always racing to go around us in through the ditch and around, or laying on their horn, getting really close to us. I just don't know if there can be a sign put up there, no passing on the right, something.
Well, it's illegal.
It's consistent. Well,
Most
it is, but
places.
that doesn't stop them from doing it.
No
That's my
sign will
issue.
stop them from doing it either. All right, thank you for your comment. Anybody else wishing to speak to the board? Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I'm also concerned about the roadway safety. It's very unsafe. My name is Cindy Minervini, and I live right on Kellner Road as well. It's very unsafe to turn into our driveway. I have to turn left oftentimes, and if I'm very afraid to keep my wheel turned because people will move over onto the shoulder to pass me. And if they tap me with my wheel turn, they're gonna push me right into
You are correct.
oncoming traffic. So this is a concern as well, and there's a high rate of speed generally, and I don't understand why people are passing on a shoulder. It is illegal, and nobody seems to do anything about it. And as far as the gun range, you bet we should have notification about that closing.
Thank you for your comment. And yes, everybody was noted. It was public meeting notices, and they're published. They are on our town pages. They're posted in 3 places, every meeting that we hold. The gun range was done through the legislative meetings. Those meetings are all posted. You can look at the town website and see what things are there all the time. But thank you for your comments. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. My name is
Yes.
Robert Bartlett. I live at 4611 Kellner Road, right on W here. My concern is traffic also. At this time of year, I ride my motorcycle pretty frequently, and it gets a little personal when you're trying to turn into your driveway and you have somebody that's passing around you at more than 45 miles an hour, and they fail to come to a complete stop while I'm at a complete stop and I'm waiting to turn while there's oncoming traffic heading east. or excuse me, heading west into town, and there's no place for me to go. I'm waiting to legally turn. That I understand that it's a double yellow line. There is no passing on the right, there's no passing on the left, there's no passing, period. And especially riding my motorcycle, but it has become commonplace on a daily basis that cars just do not yield to you and allow you to turn safely into your driveway. And I would like to see some more enforcement, and I disagree with the comment of the board that signs don't help. I think that people's knowledge of that there isn't, that the passing, maybe they're not aware that they're not allowed to pass. I think some people are just ignorant to the law, but I think that putting some signs up, especially starting around 46th Street area on down, would help. At least no passing on the shoulder of the road, illegal to pass.
I understand what you're saying, sir, but your time is running short, but I'll tell you where you need to go. It's not to the town of Grand Rapids. Signs on Highway W are controlled by the county. So we have no control over what goes up there. You can talk to our police chief. He can talk to you, and he can see if he can find the resources to have more cognizant of it, but we can do what we can do, but you need to talk to the county if you're looking for any signage. Okay? Anybody else wishing to speak? If not, we'll move into the reports from the departments. First up would be Fire Chief Don Bone.
Good evening, board, citizens, and the voting public out there. We're currently staffed with 46 members that are doing fire and EMS for the town of Grand Rapids. Like I said, we're still typically looking for any resident that'd be interested in joining the fire department. Our EMS staff is fairly full, but on the fire side of things, we're always willing to get more people involved and trained and functioning as firefighters for the town. This month we've had 31 calls for service, 20 of EMS calls. One gas leak was a gas line into a vacant property that was hit by a contractor. 2 1050 motor vehicle accidents, nothing severe, thankfully. We did have 2 mutual aids, one up to Vesper for the TJ Auto fire. There was pretty much every fire department in central Wisconsin was there. And the second one was up the Village of Buren, called us for a reported structure fire that turned out to be a brush pile on fire. We did have 2 trees on power lines arcing throughout our last couple storms, a couple more today. Obviously the trees fall on electrical wires, and until the power is de-energized, they make some sparks and occasional fires. There's very little we can do with that other than scare the area, but well, that's what we're called on to do. We did have 3 false alarms again, which were calls that turned out to not end up being any type of a fire activity at all. They were called in and reported as fires. We did have 1 structure fire this Saturday early morning out in the town of Grant. That is a confirmed arson fire. I guess anybody having any information as to anything that was going on in the vicinity of 90th Street North, the Portage County Sheriff's Department is very interested in finding the people that would intentionally light a house on fire, and also put a couple fire departments out in the middle of the night to do that. I guess I really applaud our firefighters for getting out there. We had a good save on the house, but unfortunately there's still a lot of damage done to a house that there was no reason for it. So they say if anybody has any information, hears anybody talking, sees anything on Facebook, Portage County has a Crime Stoppers hotline, the same as Wood County does. Please call. they'd be more than happy to investigate it. And I guess, like you say, we don't care to have people out setting things on fire, especially somebody's house. So I'd definitely like to thank the Portage County Task Force for coming out, the Portage County Sheriff's Department for investigating that fire, like I say, early Saturday morning. Our training for this month, our EMS crew is starting our 6-month refresher to keep our licensure up with the state of Wisconsin. The fire department, tentatively, we're looking at going up to the beer and mill. It's not in our jurisdiction, but we do get called there every time they have an incident, so we're looking at doing a mutual aid drill up at the beer and facility up there. For those, our public relations activities for the month, we did have our firefighter celebration on June 10th. Turned out to be a very nice day. Luckily, we had a good breeze with the heat. We had a nice turnout. Always a good event. I don't even want to know how many years we've been doing it, but they say it's a long day for the firemen. They spend a lot of time, especially after, they say, being up from, midnight fighting a house fire and then going home and sleeping for, I think I got a half hour before we had to get up to go do the picnic for the day. So if any firefighters weren't all cheerful at the picnic, it's probably because they couldn't keep their eyes open anymore. But went off. We had a good event. Didn't have any incidents there to report, so we had a good outcome and hopefully some good profit from the day. Other than that, we will be attending the parade on Sunday again with trucks in the parade. So hope to see everybody downtown at the Cranberry Blossom Festival parade. So.
Any questions for the chief on the fire calls? If not, you can revert to your safety department report.
Safety department's doing good. We did have one minor first aid injury, a finger into the door of a vehicle, so definitely wasn't intentional and pretty minor injury, but it was reported. So other than that, everybody's operating safely, and like you say, the road crews, everybody spend a lot of time out on the road and stuff, so it's kind of nice to see the reflective vests on everybody, whether it's law enforcement, everybody, if they're out on the streets. They're very good about keeping that apparel on. I guess request people to, similar to what the people said, slow down. Slow down, give the people that are out there working on the highways a little opportunity, get their work done so they can get off the road, same as the people going down the road. So that's typically what we see is a lot of dodging motorists. Like I said, I feel for you. I do it every time we go out on traffic call and stuff. It's amazing the speeds that people will come through accident scene, whether it's down to one lane of traffic and stuff like that, and whether they'll still try coming through at 35, 40 miles an hour, and you don't realize what it's like until you're standing next to that car. So, but safety-wise, we're doing well.
Okay, any questions on safety? If not, thank you very much, Chief. Next report, Police Department, Mel Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. The Grand Rapids Police Department handled 428 calls for service for the month of May of this year. This compared to 492 calls for service of May of last year, about a 13% decrease in calls, and the town board here has a breakdown of those calls. The Police Department issued 50 traffic citations, 44 municipal ordinance citations, and 45 warnings during the month of May. On May 18th, I attended Mid-State College, Technical College commencement ceremony at the Wisconsin Rapids campus here. It was great to witness all the new graduates receive their diplomas and begin their next steps on their chosen career path. The Grand Rapids Auxiliary assisted with the Choose to Reuse event on Saturday, May 20th at the town garage. They assisted with traffic and crowd control at that event. And I'd like to put out there also that the Grand Rapids Auxiliary is pretty much operating at minimal personnel right now. And anybody out there that wishes to become a part of our auxiliary, by all means, their applications are online. You can fill those out, drop them off, and we'd be happy to have you on board for helping out on the auxiliary. Vehicles in the department are doing well outside of normal maintenance, and stop by my office anytime you have any questions, and I'd like to address your concerns right there.
I'd actually like to ask one more thing, too.
Okay, well, let me address it. I've noted your concerns tonight, and we'll, as much as we can, we'll try to get extra patrol on Kellner Road out here on W. I can assure you, we spend a lot of time on Kellner Road already, and I think you all know that. You probably see us out there, but it's amazing how well people behave when there's a marked squad car on the road, either behind them or in front of them or parked along the side of the road. So we also had, if you remember last fall, we had our speed sign down here on Kellner Road, down by 64th. So we know that Kellner Road is always an issue any time of the year, not just this time of the year. And, you know, we try to get on it as much as we can. We have a lot of other roadway and a lot of other complaints, driving complaints that come in. So, you know, sometimes it stretches us pretty thin. But your concerns are noted here tonight, and I'll be sure that we try to get as much as we can additional time on Kellner Road here. So, okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Good, Patty?
Yes.
I was just wondering, you know, the town of Grand Rapids also has 4-lane, you know, on Highway 54. Is it a law, let's say you have someone stopped on the side of the road, is it law to actually, the car that is going to be going around to be in the other lane? Or what is the law?
I'm not
You
quite
know,
sure what
like
you're
if,
asking.
if
For
you
a
are
passing
stopped-
vehicle or for
Right,
the vehicle?
For a passing vehicle to go around. You know,
Well-
you're stopped with a vehicle on the side of the
Right,
road.
right.
And it's dangerous for you to be out on the road talking to,
Sure, yeah.
you know. So is it a law for them, for another car that's going in the same direction, that they must be in that other lane? Or can they just like, you know, what are the rules or regulations?
When passing any emergency vehicle, and I don't know the exact wording, but the basic rule is that you need to slow down, yield, be prepared to stop when passing any emergency vehicle. That would include fire trucks, squad cars, even maintenance equipment with yellow. They may not have flashing red lights or blue lights or whatever. They may have just the flashing yellow for maintenance crews, but you're supposed to slow down and then pass, you know, with caution to whatever, you know, side of the road. You know, we get some people, when they pull over, they pull to the left of the inside median, you know, and at that point, is it safer for us to just do the traffic stop and get it done with, and with them parked that way by pulling over to the right side? Or, you know, or are we creating more of a hazard by saying, hey, move your car over to the right curb, or, you know, so that's kind of a judgment call the officer has to make, you know, at that point, what is the safest way to conduct that stop. But they're supposed to move over, you know, away from the stop, slow down, and be prepared to stop and proceed with caution, basically.
And is that true to double the fine in construction zone?
Yeah, there's wording in that for construction zones. But that wouldn't apply to like traffic stop.
No.
Yeah.
but, just for
That's a
safe
totally,
driving.
yeah, that's just a totally different
Yeah.
citation, so. The applicable statutes will have enhanced fines for if it's a construction zone.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the chief? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move to the last report for the evening. That'd be the treasury report with Amy Cook.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the month of May, the current month receipts were $41,403, and the current month disbursements were $278,195. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $1,006,694, with $106,415 in checking, $648,490 in the repo account, and $315,692 in the money market account.
Any questions? Did anybody catch that? We took in less than we spent. Did you catch that? That's the way all businesses operate, isn't it?
Just a new treasure.
Yeah, it's a new treasure. All right, moving on to regular items again. The next item would be consideration of Resolution 2017-15, the discontinuing of unnamed undeveloped road in Valentine subdivision. Board members, any discussion first, or any comments, or is there a motion?
I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Nick, please.
You can make a motion if you'd like to.
No, go ahead. I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, so you do have a written objection, so I'd need to explain to the board what that means and what the threshold created results from that. According to 661003 4C, since this property owner lies within 2,650 feet of the public way being considered, it is going to require a 2/3 vote from this body to discontinue that road. So you do have a written objection that doesn't block the discontinuance of this, but it does heighten the requirements to discontinue the road.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Bill.
So when this does get changed, and if it does, the property owners have to go to the Register of Deeds and change their deeds?
Sure.
And
So-
that's at their, is that at their expense?
I can answer.
Go ahead,
that. So reversion of title is going to be found in 661005. At least from the review of the previous section of road that was discontinued in Valentine subdivision, it did look like the town is who took care of going to the Register of Deeds and recording that.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
Just point of clarification, so the property, the objection makes it sound like because he wants access from the east, but the property is bordered on the north and on the west with roads.
On the north and the south.
On the-
On the
I
north,
mean,
sorry, or
On the
you're saying
west
on the,
and the north, I mean.
sorry, yes, so the
Right.
12-acre parcel is bordered on the north and the west, I believe.
With
I
roads, so there would be access if this were gone. Just would not be access to 80th Street is all.
Yeah, and right, there would be two ways to get in or out of that subdivision currently. However, depending on who bought it, how they divided it may not work for one or the other. So I guess are we, interested in waiting to see what happens with the sale? If it does sell, or what it is, or what? So that's the two options you can have. Go ahead, Patty.
With this information that the Plan Commission, I can tell you, did not have that information from Delaney Weiss. And knowing that information, I myself am willing to vote against discontinuing this particular removal of this off the
Official map.
the official map, because if they are looking to sell it as for builders, we all know that we would like to see always two exits from a subdivision, and if it doesn't go to a builder, she is willing to remove that piece per her letter. So I am actually willing to see how it goes down the road.
So, Mr. Chairman, before the motion gets made, and maybe this is a question for Nick, is it better, instead of making a motion to discontinue, we would just make a motion to table action on this? And we can bring it up then at a later date?
No, there's
Because of the public hearing?
There's a process that Nick can explain, and then there's a process to be reviewed at a later timeframe. But
Yeah, so-
you want to follow us?
Yeah, so choosing not to approve this discontinuance doesn't close the door forever. It does, it is something that you'll need to visit today. I believe you could probably table it for a meeting, but you will have to make a decision on, you initiated the process through the preliminary resolution, then notice gets sent out, a public hearing gets set, then you'll have a final resolution. What you'd be doing today is making a determination on that final resolution. If you decided to not go forward with that final resolution, therefore not discontinuing this road, it would just come back at a later date. It would either come from a petition from the property owners, okay, to the north and the south, or it would come from, again, a preliminary resolution. So it can be initiated in two ways. In this way, it was initiated through a preliminary resolution by this body.
And there is a waiting time for that, is that correct?
And I believe it's 1
1
year,
year?
I believe.
Okay. Was that your question, or curious, or, I know, I understand that you're a property owner.
I am the property owner. I have several questions, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to get clarification that, I guess I wasn't instructed when I received the letter if I was supposed to make some sort of written statement or obtain some sort of legal representation or advice on this matter.
That wouldn't be required, it just,
Okay,
that person chose to because they were out of town.
Okay, sure, I'm trying to keep up with the protocol
Right.
and find out, what's supposed to happen, and to find out, based on the information in their written objection, how the town is honored. From what I understand, this area was given to the town by some owners several decades ago, and now that there's been some, inheritance or something, now there's an interest in it. You guys don't want the alley, so as far as the town is concerned, I'm just trying to reiterate what I think I understand you're saying, and I'm just trying to figure out where that affects, me being the property owner on the other way, because under one impression, I thought that when the town did decide to do something to it, we would have
At least a portion of it.
a portion of it, and I'm not sure what supersedes that. Is it now that the town gets to decide, or did the original owners from decades ago get to decide? I guess I'm very confused on who has the rights or the decision on what's to be done with who owns what, and I would like more clarification.
Sure. Nick, are you able to?
I am. So under 661005, which is what I talked about with reversion of title, there is a process to determine where title would revert to, okay? And so in this case, there are property owners to the north and the south that are different property owners. I didn't catch, ma'am, what, are you on the north, south, or where are you on the?
I am the north side.
Okay, you are on the north side. All right, so yourself and one other, there's a different property owner to the south.
Okay.
Then what, so per that statute, what you do is you look back and see how the dedication was made. The dedication actually was made as part of the acceptance of the Valentine subdivision plat, with two roads being dedicated. One, this one, and another one that was vacated some time ago to the north of that property. Okay, so I'll give you an example. The last time that the other road was discontinued, since that was formed out of the creation of the Valentine subdivision, it went split between the north and the south property in Valentine subdivision. In this case, it was formed out of Valentine subdivision. Only one of those parcels, yours, is a part of that Valentine subdivision, okay? So it would go all to your property.
Okay, well, that's what I guess I was trying to get to in the layman's terms of what that was gonna be, or if there was some sort of dispute, or what would be required of me to pursue that or to make that happen. I guess I'm not aware, if I approve or disapprove of it being sold to a builder, or what they wanna do with it, or if that even has any concern to me. I just wanted to be aware, being that I'm a neighboring property, and so that I could be involved with the property that way, so.
And I would just speak to one other thing.
Sure.
The town does not decide if that gets sold to a builder. The statute dictates how that would revert. So what I described to you is the process that would be followed to determine who that would revert to. If there would be no record pertaining to where that road originated from, it would go half to the north, half to the south. In this case, it was found that it was dedicated out of the formation of Valentine subdivision, which means that originally it came off of that north parcel.
Okay, so, and if the town then decides to not make it an alley, I can do what I prefer within the town rules with the said thing, and I don't have to worry about anybody with the property line from the south?
It's not an alley. It's a
Okay.
road dedication. There's other parts of that statute that come into play, so I need to make sure that that's clear.
Okay, sure, I understand what you're saying. All right, thank you, that clears up a lot for me, thank you.
I'm not so certain it's totally clear for me.
I wasn't sure.
And I've been around in this a long time. But I understand, but I guess my question goes back to Nick. are we concrete in the thought process that Delaney, right, has a standing in this? Or are we not?
The threshold there is whether or not the written objection is from a property owner that's within 2,650 feet of the public way being considered. So the answer is yes, this property owner has standing here.
Okay.
What it creates is a threshold of 2/3 required from this body to do the discontinuance. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Other questions?
I got a question.
Go ahead, Dan.
So,
We haven't heard from you today yet.
yeah, so tabling it would only be pushing it off for a month or so, that's all. We couldn't table it until the property is sold, correct? If I understand that part right?
Well, it depends on when the property is sold, but
Well,
what you'd probably be
yeah,
doing if
yeah.
the desire was to wait until that property would be sold or a later time, would be voting no on the resolution that's before you tonight, and then at a later time, when, per statute, right, so there would be a waiting period, but per statute, then at a later time, this could be initiated once again.
Go back through to the planning
It
committee?
doesn't have to go through the plan commission. This did go through the plan commission
Yep.
because it was part of their analysis, but actually the statute would read that it either is a preliminary resolution that's adopted by this board or a petition from the property owners.
Okay.
And could, Mr.
Go
Chairman,
ahead.
question for clarification legality-wise, can a motion come to the floor that vacates the road dedication on a future date, thereby giving them that period of time? So like, could the motion be today that 6 months from now or 9 months from now, if the property's not sold, it will be vacated?
It's probably a better idea in that case, understanding what you're saying, definitely. It's probably a better process to vote no on the resolution and bring it back at that later date.
Okay.
So it would be really the same thing, and this body would, if that's the consensus of this body, it would just be this body bringing back the preliminary resolution and kicking that process off again.
Okay, one more question for the
Okay,
property
one more
owner.
quick question. So if
Sure.
you guys did decide to not do the vacation in hopes of this builder sale and, getting revenue and things for the town, I get that. I'm just curious as to, what if I oppose that, or, not that I want to oppose the town, but I'm just wondering if wasn't for this builder having a driveway or a parking lot coming this way, do I have rights as the owner to the north then to dispute such a?
Well,
request, or-
it is dedicated now, so, which means that technically the town has control over it.
Okay, right.
Okay. However,
That was
the caveat out there is Wood County has control over every road that comes off of a county road, and whether or not they would even consider granting that road, even though it says there, does not necessarily mean that they would get it, because certain people try to get driveways off of and can't even get a driveway access.
Okay.
And I think, Kyle, when you went through that, they did not want you to have access off of 80th, correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to guess it's likely, no, I guess I don't want to guess.
That's
But,
right. It gives us
nah.
some perspective. Thank you.
So, all right, so anybody in a position to make a motion for or against? Then I'll forward a motion to deny the change, to not accept the, let's see, what would the term be, not, Nick?
Right, so you'd be making a motion not to approve resolution.
Not to approve resolution 2017-15.
And I'll second it.
Motion by Arnie, second by Dan. Motion, any discussion now? Hearing none, all in favor of denial, say aye. I have an aye, any opposed? One opposed, William. So that did pass by 2/3 then, Nick, right?
Correct.
You meant, the
It-
motion though was to deny this.
Right,
So
but it
we're
still
not
had, it
going
still had
forward,
to,
though.
right, we are not going forward, but it still had to be denied by the
Okay,
same vote.
Okay, for a minute there. I
No,
thought
no,
it
we're.
was sort of like a double negative.
No,
and
no,
I'm
no,
like,
you're,
okay.
we're good.
All right, good.
All right, but we
Basically,
will
you
address
guys are
it.
gonna keep the alley, and we're gonna wait and see what happens with the sale.
Right,
Is
there you
that
go.
what that means?
And whether they can,
Okay.
and whether they can get the road from the county, which,
Okay, so I'll stop worrying. Thank you.
okay, don't worry about it, but you guys could talk to each other, yeah. Hmm. All right, now, this one might be a little easier, huh? 2017-19 resolution to amend the town Grand Rapids official map. Those are all on here, all been massaged, went through plan commission. Any discussion on it first, members, or are you ready to?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2017-19, the resolution for amending the town of Grand Rapids official map as presented through the public hearing and as follows.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, go ahead. Discussion, motion by Patty, second by Kathy. Bill?
Yeah. I'm just surprised, because I was at the meetings from the committee on this, Plan Commission, and I'm just surprised nobody spoke in favor of this, and I'm wondering why. Was all the landowners within such and such a foot given notice? Or was the notice in the newspaper the only thing?
It's my understanding, and I did speak with Peggy on this, that property owners whose reservations this went through, aside from the one that would be involved with the Highway 54 East Arterial Study, because that's a ton, both city and town, but all the other ones were notified, as that was what I was told.
Okay. Other discussion?
Just a quick question. When you look at your number 2 and number 3.
I gave my map away.
Yes.
Okay,
South of number 2, there's a section of road left there. So what, that then becomes a dead-end road, or? See how 2 and 3 come together, like a backwards L? So
Right.
south of number 2 to Kellner Road,
There's
a road there, right?
Yeah, there's no road there.
That's 60th Street coming up. There are parcels there, and
There's no
it just
road.
ends.
so it would just end?
It
There's
ends.
no
Like a
road.
dead-end
It's
road?
been that way, it's been 2 or 3 houses down there for
Okay.
a billion years. Daniel
This
Cook.
is, yeah, this is just
Yep.
road that goes in.
Oh,
But there's no roads
okay,
there.
I know where you're talking now. Okay,
Right.
yep. Yep.
Nothing here and
The
nothing
farm-
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, now I know.
Right.
Okay,
The
got it.
the racetrack, as they said for years, we fought with. Remember those?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, resolution number 8 is resolution 2017-18. This is the updated Community Firewise Protection Plan for 2018-22. That's been worked between the DNR, the fire chief, and myself predominantly. We've gone through the schedule of items we want to attack or address in the various years. And when we do this program, and then it puts us into favorable standing as far as being able to get grant money.
What's the difference between the one we did last year versus this year? I could not find my copy.
Last year was just a grant request.
Okay.
This, we did a 5-year plan. That is now done with. We're starting a new 5-year plan, and then we're addressing whatever is. But one thing I wanted to, just to briefly mention, it's coming up to fireworks season again. Between 2007 and 16, 18% of the wildfires in Grand Rapids were caused by fireworks. So I want to remind everybody that fireworks does start fires. 33 fires in that 9-year period. Wildfires started. Some were rather small acreages because we got to them soon enough. So, questions on our plan, concerns? If not, we'd like to have it adopted tonight, so.
I'll make a motion to adopt the fire lane plan.
Motion by Bill, second Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Thank you. Item 9, Clerk Dotter wants to go to WMCA conference in Wisconsin Dells, August 22nd to the 20th. That's the annual Municipal Clerks Association. Approximate cost $566.57, and that was put in your budget, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the conference, annual clerk conference request.
Second.
Oh, you got a lot of seconds.
Thank you.
Motion Kathy, second.
Treasure with you now.
Second, which
She's
one?
got some
Patty or
over
Bill?
Patty.
Yeah, right.
Patty, second. Any other discussion? I think this is good. This will be your second year?
Second, yes.
And then 3 years you get certified, or 4?
3 years, and then there's a fourth, but 3 years will be certified.
But this one is just the
This is
conference,
right.
this is
Oh.
not the institute.
The one in the institute is.
That's later.
That's in
That's in
July.
July. You approved that
The
months ago.
institute
Oh.
already.
So you're not certifiable yet?
I'm not certifiable yet. Well, I don't know.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? You can go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Approval of Sergeant Drinkwine attending tactical response instructor training, Appleton, August 7th through the 10th. Approximately $152 at cost for mileage. Would he be interested in taking our vehicle, you think?
He may need to take a.
Tactical vehicle?
Tactical vehicle for that training.
That's not
I'll have to
tactical?
Double check, so,
Is he driving back and forth for that?
no, he'll be staying there.
It says
Should I-
MSTC will cover the cost, that's
Mid-State
why.
Technical College is picking up the cost of the registration and his hotel room.
Oh. Bonus.
I'll make a motion to approve Sergeant Drinkwine's attendance at the tactical response instructor training.
I'll second it.
Motion Kathy, second Dan. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Whoa.
I just have a question.
did?
Yeah.
Why don't you quote me?
When you were looking over that. So he will be gone for 7 days. Do you have, is that correct? No,
No,
3
it's-
days, just 3 days.
Right.
And then there's ample coverage for those 3 days?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
We'll be filling his, well, it's 3 days, but I think it's only 2 days, I think, that he works.
Okay.
Scheduled for work,
Oh,
so
no.
it's not the full 3 days, it's whatever days he would work during that time frame.
Okay.
And I don't recall offhand when it fell, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other question? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion carried. Approval of 2017 and 18 liquor licenses, excuse me. We have the list in front of us. We do have 2 open licenses at this time, plus a reserve license or 2, I guess. So all of these have passed their verifications of everything, liquor license, or liquor bills being paid, et cetera, et cetera.
If you make a motion, do you have to read all the names?
No, they were
I'll make
published.
a motion to approve the liquor applications.
Motion by Bill, as long as he doesn't have to read the names. Seconded by Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion carried.
Nice to see Mickey's is going to be back to an operating license.
Yes, it is. All right, May disbursement vouchers. Question on the vouchers. Hearing none, we'll move to next item, which will be the operator license applications and renewals. How many is there total on here?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I didn't-
Never mind.
Yeah. Bill, you want to read them?
I won't even second the motion.
I'll motion to approve the operator license as presented. They've all been verified by the police chief.
I'll second.
Motion by Arnie, second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move to monthly reports from departments. Public Works. Right now, 48th Street from Airport to Griffith was chip sealed. Done Monday morning bright and early. Got time to cool off enough before the downpour came, so it does look like it's set good. So we'll leave the chips on there for a while, and then we'll take it from there. We also started Lake Avenue this morning, or I should say this afternoon after the rain stopped. And the milling company went in and milled. It's cold recycle. In other words, they mill up the portion of the road, they mix it, and then they inject oil onto it, and then they lay it down like you would a blacktop road, but it's not the finished road. So it's called cold in place recycling. In other words, you don't have to haul material off, haul it on, they recycle it right there, put it down, and then a few days from now, or a week or two, whatever county gets back to us, then they'll blacktop roughly 1 3/4 finished. So they'll be laying down 2 inches of fresh blacktop on top of it. This is a new process that's been designed to prevent the road from refracturing any old cracks that might have been below the road surface. So it's supposed to hold up better. County did some last year on some roads up in some rough areas, turned out good. So we're gonna do this, and it was virtually the same money as it was for us to haul the material off and hold fresh material in. So that's done. I want to say the same thing that the chief was referring to as far as the workers. We have this posted for local traffic only. While I was sitting there watching it up, I could see one end of the road where there's cars would come, and when there was only one lane active, they'd come all the way down, and they'd go all the way out to 23rd Street and keep on going. They had no reason at all to be on that road, affecting those workers that had to get out of their way because they were using a lot of the road. I saw it on 2 different occasions in the 20 minutes that I sat there and watched them. So people need to stay. If you do not need to be on a road that's being worked on it, please stay off of it. You have no business there if it says local traffic only. There, Bill.
I know a person that was backed into, years ago, was backed into by a dump truck. And that person's insurance did not pay for it.
Because they were on
a
road that they had no authorization.
Insurance will not pay for it if you get an accident.
Unless you have a driveway or something on there,
Oh, yes, if you're local traffic, you have to be local traffic.
Yep. All right, then the only other thing from Public Works side is we do have a large pile of wood chips available for landscaping. Grand Rapids residents only, please. Help yourself, you need to load them yourself, but we probably have, I want to guess, 6, 8 dump trucks, so we got quite a pile right now. And no, they're not colored, they're natural. So, any questions on public? They're not colored. You can dye your own if you want. Any questions on Public Works? If not, I'll move right down. I'll cover the airport. Third Tuesday in May, a week after our meeting, we had a terrible accident at the airport. A gentleman that was on First Street, headed towards the 2 Mile, got into some kind of medical condition. The throttle accelerated. He hit the gate, broke through the gate, narrowly missed a fuel tank, narrowly missed a power pole, and drove right through the 60-foot hangar door. Smashed and totaled out a small plane that was in it, and proceeded to go a third of the way out the back of the air hangar. Considerable amount of damage to the airport, considerable risk for our fire safety people that are in there trying to extricate him when there was fuel leaking from a plane. Correct, Chief? It was not a very good scene. The unfortunate side of it is there's a driver driving with no insurance. Another one. I don't know what it takes for people to understand you need to have responsibilities, and it is the law in Wisconsin, Chief, correct? You must have insurance. The fine is $124. So I suppose if you get stopped, caught once a year, that's a lot cheaper than the insurance. Is that what people think? The airport's losing the control of that hangar for at least another month or two before we get it. It may even take longer to construct a door to that specification again. We're losing, and we have no recourse other than to sue the person to see if we can get anything back after our insurance company for the airport covers everything except the first $25,000. No. Now, the good news, the airport is busy. Lots of traffic coming in. Not only traffic for Sand Valley Golf Course, business traffic. There was a couple jets in just recently with some attorneys coming into town to do some business. That's probably a good sign. At least we hope it is. We bid the 2 projects out for the airport that are primarily funded by federal tax dollars, some state tax dollars, and a small portion of the airport. 2 projects are going to be done this summer. Were bid and awarded to the tune of just under $800,000, and these came in about 5% under what the estimates were, so that's the good news. One of the projects is on one of the taxiways to the main primary runway, changing the angle to it to make it more of a direct angle rather than a 45-degree angle. And then the second project is stormwater drainage. In order for the feds to grant us any more additional money, we needed to put stormwater drainage into the system, and we will be laying pipe to be draining it into the 1 Mile Creek, which will ultimately get to Nepco Lake, which will ultimately get to the Wisconsin River, to the Mississippi, and then the Gulf of Mexico, right? Okay. 2018, the rebuild of our short runway. That runway is currently 50-foot wide, and will be made 60-foot wide, and it's going to be resurfaced. That's what's currently in the books. We have some grant money requests into the state of Wisconsin, and if we get some additional funds, then we can continue on to build a larger parking area for the planes, etc. Fuel truck is in. We're using selling a lot of fuel, and profits on a gallon of jet fuel when we dispense it is about $3 a gallon profit. So every 350 gallons a jet takes helps pay for the $60,000 cost of the tanker. Any questions on the airport? Not move to recycling solid waste. Bill, you want to update us what you got?
You have a copy of my report here. I'll just briefly run over it and let you know that there was, we had the 3 supervisors, well, the 3 committee members there, myself, Supervisor Patty Lumbee, and also Carol Davis, and we had 13 other volunteers. That's probably the most volunteers we've had, and we had them for quite a bit of the day also, so. And we took in for ODC $1,160 worth of electronics that had to be paid for. It was all taken off in 1 truckload. And on our metal, we had to have 2 containers, 2 roll-offs, for a total of 9,520 pounds. And then also we collected some batteries which offset that. And for advanced disposal, the dumpster cost us $150, and within it we had 0.72 ton or 1,440 pounds of waste, and that come to $186. Well, basically we made $24 there for the town, besides paying for the dumpster also. Tire drop-off, we collected $210 worth of, no, $204 worth for tires. And we also collected 48 gallons of used oil. And it was a very successful, somewhat wet at the end day, but we managed and had everything all cleared out of there by Monday.
Okay, questions?
I'd just like to comment, I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
thank the Public Works Department for their help for organizing the garage so that we were able to utilize that, and also the police auxiliary support for making that day successful.
Okay. Move to Plan Commission. Patty, got anything on there? I don't
For
think you
lack
had-
of items, we did not meet, but the meeting before that, we've been working on the official map.
Okay. Public buildings, Dan?
Well, I think we got them in this month. We got the air conditioner, and the furnaces in this building all working in good condition. We have the generators are now operational and got tested and work. And those are up and functioning well. So we had a couple of the door issue over at the fire department, which is being addressed by Mark Lee. I don't know if he knows what to do, he just hasn't fixed it yet, but it's just heating up. Other than that, we got a couple other projects we're gonna be meeting probably closer to the end of the month and get moving on some more.
Okay, one thing I did ask you about the running of the condensers.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like the inside run all the time that I've noticed it, same what Mel noticed it. We're not seeing the outside one running. Now, maybe that's by design, but I guess we prefer to know whether they're both supposed to be running at once or if just one's running.
Okay, I'll give them a call tomorrow. I'll get back to you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, it is a little bit quieter in here. What do you think, Art?
Let's move to item.
You want to adjourn, don't you? All right, public buildings, legislative, did not meet, but we will be meeting 20th for a short meeting after Board of Review. So we'll move to public safety. Kathy, anything?
Nothing.
Economic development, it's Patty, right?
Right, nothing, but normally underneath that, I've been talking about the Southeast Wood County Water Committee meeting.
Sure.
The next meeting is going to be on June 20th from 2 to 4. The location's to be determined yet.
I will give the report on that.
Okay, please.
Yeah, it was held May 23rd, 2017 at the town of Saratoga Town Hall. And there was 10 people there. That's the least amount of participation we've had since the meeting's begun. The meeting lasted 2 hours and 25 minutes, and some of the things, Representative Krug was going to be there, but at 2 o'clock, but he did not show. He had some other things to do. One of the discussions was the high water in the area, and the people there from Adams County, Shane, who is our water conservationist, and also Adams County one was there, and said they're getting calls every day about high water, especially in the Adams County area. And then water sampling. A lot of stuff is being done in municipalities such as the town of Rome and the town of Saratoga with 120 water samples every weekend. And it costs the homeowners to do this. And they have 2 packages to do it. It's $49 or $26, depending upon what you want tested for. And that's being done throughout. The 7 Mile Creek, and the 10 Mile Creek, is being sprayed with manure, liquid manure in that area, and they're now going to be testing that probably here in the town of Grand Rapids also. So it's 80th Street is where most of the liquid manure is going from the CAFO area, and the Mill Creek in Junction City is going to be at our next.
Where does the 7 Mile cross, Bill? I'm just curious
Oh.
in Grand Rapids.
Let's see, maybe I gotta The 10 mile. Is that, no?
No.
No, let me read this here. Suggested investigating the health of the 7 mile and the 10 mile quick. No, I mean, no, it's not the town of Grant.
Yeah.
That's the 10 mile that crosses Highway
I think
13.
I think it's in
It's a
Grant
7
coming in
mile, yeah.
Saratoga.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
A lot of the lake associations in the town of Rome are doing their own and having people, because a lot of the fertilizer that people are using on their lawns is going in, into the water, and they're coopering that up. The Mill Creek, yeah, that's on, in the Junction City area. They're doing a lot of stuff there with water and testing it, so. Like I said, it's one of the shortest meetings and the least people there, but you indicated there's no place yet where the next one's going to be.
Okay, the Wisconsin Towns Association meeting last month basically was discussion around signage. The Wood County sign crew was there to present the who's, what, where, when, and whys. There was legislators there, but not a lot of discussion other than saying support the bills that the Towns Association is pushing for. And so far, it looks good for roads, for an increase for the towns in the state. Any other, Bill?
And Peter Manley was also there. And the last Saturday in September will be the clean sweep for this area, for getting rid of your paints and pesticides and things like that. And it'll be at the Saratoga Town Hall. And then they never mentioned where the next county unit meeting's going to be. Oh yeah, it's going to be in the town of Grand Rapids. Friday night.
Right.
I almost missed Personnel Committee, didn't I?
Well, we didn't have a committee meeting, but I know that at the last town board meeting, we had all been the Personnel Committee was directed to update the FMLA policy with the new language that we made the motion on, use of sick time on the federal portion of the leave. But that was the only item, and Dan and I didn't feel it was necessary to call a meeting and have per diems and such if we don't have other personnel issues. So currently, I sent the policy to Lisa and asked her to have either Nick or Ruda review to make sure that there isn't language in there that should not be in there. And if the Personnel Committee needs to revisit it after it comes back, then we'll be sure to have a committee meeting.
So, excuse me, so was it, could you, so it was agreed upon that sick leave had to be utilized first before, or PTO, or
No, sick
what was
leave, the motion was that the use of sick leave, any accrued available sick leave, would be used during the federal portion.
Okay.
And then thereafter, it would be the employee's choice of any other benefit time that they have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions for the Personnel Committee? If not, then we'll move to reports from individual board members. Bill?
Oh, I don't have anything to report.
Dan?
I'm good.
Patty?
Good.
Kathy?
Just want to thank the fire department members, the EMS members. They did put on a really great picnic on Saturday. I had a nice time. It was very warm, but it was a good time, and I appreciate seeing that celebration annually.
Were the beverages cold?
The beverages were very cold.
All right, that's
They made a little profit off me, though.
Just a little. All right, Lisa, I think you have an announcement for the board tonight, a reminder, don't you?
Oh! Yes, I was told to tell you to get baking. You know, you need to supply desserts for Friday, or you're not allowed to.
And she looked right at Dan when she said,
Is that a promise? We can't come then if we don't bring them?
Yeah, I should have said that. I'm just saying, last year, they didn't ask me to make any, they knew better.
I'm not a baker, but I'll get something for sure.
Okay, you won't get paid
We'll
next
get 'em.
month if you.
Oh, there we go.
All right, there you go. 16, public input again. We have another 2-minute wrap-up. Anything else that you heard tonight that you were not clear on or like to speak one more time on? Go ahead, sir.
You stated that there were notifications sent out and there was a meeting on the gun range.
Yes.
I'd really like it if this board could provide me with a copy of that notification, because I never received one.
You don't get one in the mail, sir. No, we do not mail 7,000 parcels or 3,000 parcels letters.
Why did I get one about the chickens?
It could be that one was, you expressed some interest in it to somebody? Because that's the only reason we sent anything that was pertaining
Well,
to,
could you provide me with the minutes from that meeting then? I don't have internet access.
yeah, stop in anytime.
I'll stop in tomorrow morning.
They can find them and photocopy for you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else speaking this evening? Hearing none, I'll want to do the item 17.
I'll make a motion
Nope.
to adjourn.
Oh, no, that's not the agenda item.
Oh, establish the next agenda item.
Caught you, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Well, I'll take care of that, all right?
Okay.
Item 18, Patty wants to.
I'll make the motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
Motion made, second to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't forget to turn your phone back on or you'll miss that important call.